is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA, live from Santa Monica with incredible updates about your fourth stimulus check of 2021, with great news as your $3.5 trillion recon passes a House Budget Subcommittee. And now today, we have breaking news that everything that's in that recon is staying in there. Every check is staying in there, and the amount of the recon items are going over the finish line. So says Sanders, Warren, AOC, Sheila Jackson, and Jalopal all heard their new comments on Mornings starting right now. Checks in cluster number 1 pass, number 2 checks pass, and number 3's clusters pass. Checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for SSI and SSDI, checks for home repairs, house, cars, trucks, college students, and even weatherizing your home. They got all those incredible checks in there, and the breaking news at Mornings is that they now represent everything is staying in there. Then we cut to the exciting details of what's going on this week as Democratic leaders tell viewers this channel in the last 24 hours that all those IRS stimulus checks are going in there as well. The same representations that no less than 1,000 viewers have been told over the last 4 weeks. I have all the incredible details at morning. Then we go to the incredible details of third stimulus with additional cash infusion going out the door, and the nonprofits paying for big sums of money. You can get anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000, and I'm going to show you how you can get it in this recording. And then the big exclusive, as now this channel has become part of the narration to get that recon over the finish line, as Kristen Sinema is now in trouble among Democrats in the state of Arizona. I have all the breaking news at noon, at Mornings. Boy, it's a big day because the toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And we have huge, great news at Mornings. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day and hope that the weather is good where you are. I'm live with you, direct from Santa Monica along the coast. Pray for the wildlife impacted by those oil spills. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much great breaking news today. Boy, it's a big news cycle today. As Democratic progressives step forward and say, everything in that recon, it's staying in there. We ain't taking anything out. The pay-fors, every item is going to be paid for exactly as it says. You're going to get the same sums of money. And now what? They're also saying the inclusion of that IRS stimulus check to viewers this channel. Meantime, Arizona Democrats have now stepped forward to Kristen Sinema and saying, you're gone if you don't do this recon. Oh boy, the heat is on. And this is after this channel has now become part of the heat, as now this channel has become part of the narration to get that stimulus check over the finish line. Then we go over the incredible details of third stimulus. But the big exciting details that's so exciting at Mornings is that all that money that was passed in that $3.5 trillion recon 2 weeks ago is staying in there. Every program is staying in there. Every payment of the program is staying in there. All those clusters, all those checks. It's huge. It's happening. And this is Mornings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and become a member starting right now. It was 2 weeks ago I delivered the breaking news to you that on a Saturday night, the House Budget Subcommittee passed your $3.5 trillion recon. The great news happening right now at Mornings is that everything in that recon is staying in there. Democrats, Sanders, Warren, Sheila Jackson, AOC, Jalopal, all in separate comments since today, last night, have continued to repeat the same indication. This is huge. This is a big winner. And this is why it's important to watch the videos. Why? Because on that Saturday when they announced that recon passing, no broadcast channel covered it. They never even covered it to this day. Print media never covered the passage of that recon, and they never covered the checks that are even in there. You wouldn't even know what the checks are. And the YouTube channels never even covered it. They don't even know what happened. So let's go over all this incredible stuff that's happening brand new at mornings. First, we're going to go over the recon. Cluster number one's checks passed and staying in there. Cluster number two's checks passed and staying in there. And cluster number three's checks passed and staying in there. We're going to go over those IRS monthly stimulus checks, which Democratic leaders told viewers this week, last week, and the week before the passage, they're going in there as well. It's great news. And then we'll be cutting to third stimulus and the big exclusive for this channel. Meantime, personal message. Some people may have thought I did not talk very excited yesterday and not with a lot of excitement, that maybe I wasn't happy or excited. It's because of my voice. My voice was struggling yesterday and the day before. It's better today. So do not interpret that as lack of excitement about the situation. But today, a lot of great news, and let's get to it right now. Cluster number one's checks in their past. This is hazard pay, seniors checks, children's checks, $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks, money for the home, money for the car, truck, and bike, and the college students. Let's go over the details. First, they got hazard pay in there, expanding the earned income tax credit so more people qualify for it, and increasing the payout so more money for those essential workers every year. Wow. There's a big win for this channel and you, because this was the biggest place for advocacy for hazard pay in 2020 on this channel. No less than 300 videos over 4 months. Then they got a brand new thing in there, up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly. This is huge per person. Then up to $4,000 a year to care for a young child. They got home repairs in there. Yes, home repairs if you live in a low-income household, low-income community. The federal government will give you free money to repair the home. Then they got money in there for college students, grants to them, grants to the university, and the Pell's grant made tax-free. They got $51,000 of MSC monthly stimulus checks in there as well. Wow, this is a biggie. And this is the CTC, the child tax credit, made broader and longer. First, more people qualify now, including non-biological parents, and now over 18 years. How much does it pay? Every month, it would be up to $300 a month. Every year, over 18 years, that the household remains a low-income household. That's $51,000 per child. Wow. Then they got money in there for the bike, car, and truck, all U.S., all electric. First, up to 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike. Up to $7,500 for the purchase price of a new electric car, personal use. A little bit more for business use and a little bit more for a truck. Wow. In a second from now, we're going to go over second stimulus checks. Second cluster checks in their past. Third cluster passed. And those IRS stimulus checks, which they are saying even this week, they're going in there. Wow. Incredible great news at mornings. Then we'll be cutting back over to what is Congress doing, third stimulus, and also the big exclusive on this channel. But first, let's take a detour for just a blink of an eye. Third stimulus has an additional $13 billion of cash infusion. I want you to get to this money for rent, utilities, mortgage, food, appliances, home repairs, because guess what? The money is available for you. And later in this video, stay the final 15 minutes of this video. I'm going to show you how viewers are getting $80, $90, $120,000 from third stimulus on this channel. It's coming up in a second. But Treasury sent out that additional $13 billion. What is it? It's detailed in the newsletter for members. And the Treasury says we're happy to provide this additional resources to Americans in need of assistance at this time. Wow. Stay later with this video. I'll show you how you get this big money. Time for second cluster checks passed. And these remind us that the recon is for everyone, every state, red, blue, poor, or rich, across the country. It's federal stimulus and has nothing to do with COVID. Number one, they got family leave and medical leave in there. How much? A lot. Under third stimulus, it was $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year, split in half. That would be $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year, split in half. $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. Paid family leave, you have to stay at home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay at home because your son broke his leg. They got no less than 12 other checks in the second cluster, and they are incredible. Build up at the child care programs, household tax credits, then Medicare benefits, including checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing. More about that, and checks for seniors later in this video in the third cluster. And then then they got in there a wonderful program called weatherizing your home. Yes, there'll be checks to weatherize your home, especially needed if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House and out of the Senate as well. There you go. Then they got pre-kindergarten in there, and they got tuition-free community college. Wow, definitely needed, because there's always someone that says, I don't understand what you're saying, LA. So now you can take the class called What the World is LA Saying 101. Now you'll never have to guess what the word I'm saying. And if you want to take the advanced class, it's called LA 202. It's so that you're fluent in that foreign language called Los Angeles. Yeah, now you'll be fluent in Los Angeles. Well, in a second, we'll go over the third cluster checks they got in there, pass, and those IRS stimulus checks. Wow, pass, coming up in a second. But let's now turn to the big exciting details of what is Congress doing. Well, Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, AOC, Jalopal, and Sheila Jackson in the last few hours and last few days, some today, some a few days ago, reassured Americans that everything in the recon is staying in the recon. Everything that is a program in the recon is staying in there, and every program will be paying you the exact same checks as detailed in this video. Wow. Bernie Sanders and Liz Warren came on the offensive today and late last night, repeating the same thing. I'll explain to their incredible comments. And in regards to Bernie's comments, it almost sounds like verbatim some of the stuff I say on this channel. It's amazing. It's just literally the same wording. It's coming up in just a second. It's huge. But for now, everything past is confirmed and is happening. Wow, it's great, and it's Ed Mornings. Now let's get to the third cluster checks, and these are huge. These are checks that the president likes because they're instant savings, and I like them as well. Free school meals for all checks, checks for a cheaper prescription medication, checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for seniors like lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Well, the president likes some of these checks in the third cluster, and I do as well, because they're instant savings to your wallet. The first one is cheaper prescription medication. How does this work? Let's say you go to the pharmacist today and say, hi, Mr. Pharmacist, I have a very bad headache. Oh, really? All right. You've been listening to the moderate Democrats. Yes, sir. I have. Do you have any solution for this problem, this horrible headache? Yes. The midterm elections, seats for stimulus. Thank you, sir. You had some good jokes this morning. Thank you for being a viewer as well. No, I want a prescription. Okay, that'll be $40. So you take two $20 bills out of your wallet. Then after this becomes law and you go to refill the prescription, and unfortunately the moderate Democrats are still around, then you may only have to take out one $20 bill out of your wallet, an instant savings of $20. Then they're going to get free internet across the board. Every red, blue, and purple state, rich and poor, will have that free internet. They give fortunes to cities that they can offer free internet to you. So all you have to do is say, what's the username and what's the password? The username is Sinema No More, and the password is Arizona Voter Out. There you go. More about that coming up later in this video. But now let's turn to the big exciting news about those IRS monthly stimulus checks. Today, yesterday, and this week, more viewers got additional confirmations after they advocated for the inclusion of an IRS monthly stimulus check that those same Democrat leaders said they're doing it. Wow. This is after last week, which was the week following the passage of the recon, where Chuck Schumer's office, the day before the vote on the roads and bridges that failed, confirmed to Donnie's wife, he's putting that IRS stimulus check in there. Monthly, yes. AOC and Jalopal's office confirmed as well, yes. And Bernie Sanders' office confirmed it 3 times. That's after everything that unfolded before the recon passed, which included Pelosi saying that it's going in there, her staff, and Sanders and Schumer and Warren and Casey. I have all the incredible details. There's no less than 1,000 viewers on this channel have been confirmed it's going in there. It's great news because Pelosi made very emphatically clear the night that recon passed on a Saturday night with Sheila Jackson in chambers. She's the number 2 in the Progressive Party. I'm going to go over more about her in a second. She said, you know what? This is Pelosi. She said it's not a bill. If you want to add stuff to, you can add stuff to it. Yes, that's great news. And that's exactly what all these incredible Democrats have said to no less than 1,000 viewers of this channel. That a monthly IRS stimulus check is in there, and they always use forward-speaking tense. And that's what Pelosi has said since then. And now last week, and now this week, the Democrats have said that as well. Wow. We're going to go over more about those IRS stimulus checks coming up after the commercial break. We got a lot coming up in this video. Stay to the very end. We got the big exciting details as everything in the recon that passed is staying in there. And the recon is not getting changed ever. Wow. I have all the incredible details on how they're going to get this done. It's coming up in mornings, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Mornings LALATE as your recon passes. Wow, and everything that passed is staying in there. Every program, every amount as detailed in this video. Boy, oh boy, I have the incredible breaking news that's happening at Mornings right now. It's big, and it follows the comments from this weekend as well. Meantime, the president's having secret meetings today. Well, not that secretive, because I found out about them. I'll explain to you what's going on and what are the meetings about. I'll have all those details. We'll be cutting back over to those monthly stimulus checks. We'll be going over more about third stimulus and why the nonprofits you should lean on. And once you get these big sums of money, I want you to be financially independent. We're going to talk about financial independence, which we haven't talked about in a while on this channel. It's coming back on this channel. And then we turn to the big exciting details of what's unfolding and how they're going to get this bill passed and voted on ASAP. I have all these incredible details as we go into a big morning continuation. And this is LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers for a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Morning's Crypto. Bitcoin going over 50,000. What happened? Then we'll go into noontime, live on air at 11 a.m. Shows at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, afternoons, and then evenings at 5. And then now the new evenings countdown show. It was a big hit last night. I tested it out. It follows right after evenings, and it's a throwback show, a replay show, and boy, people loved it. So subscribe. Let's now go to the big exciting details that no one saw happening and unfolded on Sunday. The details still coming out, and this is what's at issue, is that a top aide for Bernie Sanders' congressional staff in D.C., Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, confirms to a viewer of this channel that Sanders' office is watching this channel, watching the videos, watching me, and logging, keeping track of your advocacy messages. Why? Because your advocacy messages are now critical to getting that recon passed. At issue is the following, that your advocacy in which you say why you need something, what's unique about your situation, where you're from, what your state is, and why you need this money has now been kept track by Sanders' office and reportedly by other offices as well as evidence during the negotiations for the recon in the next few days to show Americans want this. Sanders' office is very aware that this channel is a news site and has viewers that are Republican and Democrat, viewers in red states like Texas and Florida, and blue states like California and New York. But yet viewers in all those different places are saying, I need this money, and telling you unique, different stories of why they need the money. And now they're keeping track of your messages, voicemails, emails, and telephone conversations with staff to show it to any moderate Democrats to say, maybe we don't need it, to say, yes, they need it. This has become a part of the critical equation to get the recon over the finish line as people say, maybe Americans aren't advocating for it. Oh, yeah, they are. There you go. It's important to understand what advocacy looks like. It's important to understand how you have now become part of this incredible equation. It was a A fascinating article released over the weekend when a guy named Ben Tolchin, who's a Democratic pollster, said that the way President Obama would have done this, is gone to this home state of Arizona for Kristen Sinema, the Democrat, the moderate Democrat, and said, do your citizens want this stimulus? Well, if they do, then tell Sinema that as well. And I got a similar message yesterday out to viewers and got a wonderful response from one viewer. I said, if you're specifically in the state of Arizona and you're calling up Sanders' office saying, I'm from Arizona, I want it. This is why I want it. I need it for my money, my family. Or if you're in West Virginia, Joe Manchin state, say it as well. Well, I had one wonderful, kind viewer send me a beautiful message on social media after the platforms were restored yesterday. And the viewer said, I'm in the state of Arizona and I absolutely want it. I absolutely need it. And I have 400 plus followers that are all big people in Arizona. We're all going to advocate for Arizona and make our message loud and clear. Yes, that's huge. And how is this consistent with something that's unfolding today at mornings? A new report out today reveals that the Democratic Party of Arizona is vowing to withdraw its support for Democrat Kristen Sinema in any future Democratic primary run for re-election if she does not come on board for the recon. Yes, this is big because now you see the pressure unfolding. One thing I've never detailed on this channel until right now is understanding what Arizona is versus West Virginia. Arizona has voted for a Republican senator every year for the last 40 years. So Sinema's win as a Democrat was very narrow as a Democrat. But in the case of Joe Manchin, it's much more Republican in West Virginia for senatorial races than Sinema state. In fact, in the state of West Virginia, Trump beat Biden by nearly 40 points. So it's not even a close call. That's why Sinema is really feeling the pressure. All right, let's go over what advocacy looks like for you and why these IRS stimulus checks, these leaders have now even said this week, they're putting them in there. This week, last week, and of course the weeks leading into the vote on the recon that passed about 2 weeks ago, no less than 1,000 viewers have been told by Senators Sanders, Schumer, Casey, Warren, Coons, they're putting that IRS stimulus check in there monthly. And then AOC, Omar, Jalapal, and Pelosi on the House side. It started 8 weeks ago. I said, pick up the phone and call and advocate for the inclusion of that stimulus check. And WR did. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons advocate for the inclusion of that stimulus check. And Coons' office said yes. Then 3 weeks ago, you saw this channel change very quickly overnight. I delivered a lot of exclusives. For example, I told you that the House subcommittee would be riding the recon. I was right. And in fact, it was Sheila Jackson, the vice chair of the Progressive Party underneath Jalapal, who was the lead author, and on that House floor that night when they voted on that Saturday night. Number two, I told you the House would vote first. They did in the subcommittee, and that the House floor will be voting first before the Senate floor. They are. Then I told you Bernie Sanders is critical of the equation. He is. 3 weeks ago, he said a critical quote. Unlike prior Senate budget chairmen, I like to get amongst the people when doing a recon. I say, if you listen to those words, he's saying, I want to hear from you. Pick up the phone and advocate. And 3 weeks ago, when I said that, Brother Joshua did, Lynn Glenn and Margaret did, all advocating and all saying why they need a stimulus check. And Sanders' office confirming to all three of them it's going in there. Let's understand what advocacy looks like and what is not advocacy. Advocacy involves a sentence with a period at the end, and it involves you telling your unique situation. I need stimulus because my family, my church, my community, I need it because of this situation. Maybe it's involving your financial situation. Maybe it's involving a medical or a situation at home or a situation with your business. Everyone has a unique story. Every unique story can be related to by another person. And your story comes from advocacy by saying, this is what's unique to me. I am calling from this state of Arizona, and I want to tell you why I need it. This is what's going on. I don't ever want anyone to post anything about their financial information on this channel or in private message, and I don't want anyone to ever post anything about their medical privacy either. So simply saying something like, I told my situation is fine to post. Don't want you ever to feel like you should be posting those because you should absolutely not. Then, you always want to advocate and say, this is why I need it. Now, what is not advocacy? Advocacy is not a question, a thing that ends with a question mark at the end of the sentence. Am I getting a check? When is the check coming? Is the check $10? Is the check $20? That's not advocacy. That's just asking a lot of questions, and that's going to just prompt a lot of no answers. That's not advocacy. Advocacy involves sentences. And I had two wonderful viewers who showed us what advocacy were a few days ago. Margaret, another Margaret, picked up the phone and advocated so vigorously to the Senate staff that they broke down and cried with her. Then another viewer saying, I lost my husband. I had 10 surgeries in the pandemic, and I'm raising two teenage daughters on just SSI and SSDI. I need more. This is not enough. It ain't going to cut it. Sentence, period, 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 advocacy, advocacy, advocacy. And yes, being told the same thing. And that's what Brother Joshua did. 2020 volunteered to the community page, who got millions of viewers, so much money during the pandemic. He picked up the phone and advocated to Sanders' office for a stimulus check for you, for his family, for his church. And Sanders' office said yes. $1,000 to $1,300, 3 to 6 months. But Sanders' office said he needs to hear from you. And every video after that, I always told you, he said he needs to hear from you. We now know it wasn't so much that he needs to hear from you, but that he needs to hear from you so that he can share other people the message he's getting in. And I also told you, if you flood these congressional offices with your advocacy phone calls, calling multiple offices, they will talk amongst themselves and say, have you been getting those LALATE phone calls? I have. And that's what they're doing. That's what they report. They're very impressed by your advocacy. They're very impressed by you being able to tell your story professionally and respectfully. And they're very impressed that you're from so many different walks of life. And they are all talking about you in these meetings when they're speaking with fellow senators. And as Sanders said, I need to hear your support to Brother Joshua. Well, then I said, pick up the phone and advocate. And that's what you started to do. And let's go over the incredible messages that viewers started posting in the comments to this channel, one after another, that showed their scope of advocacy. These are comments written on either the channel or in private message. Here is Donnie. You met Donnie's wife. Here's Donnie. I picked up the phone and I advocated why I need a stimulus check. My family needs it. I need it for my water and everything I needed to progress. And Sanders' office saying, yes, you're getting a monthly stimulus check. Hurricane Tina picking up the phone and advocating for why she needs it. And Sanders' office saying, yes. Yaya picking up the phone and advocating for why she needs it. And at Yaya's and to Wyden, and Wyden saying yes, and it'll be SS200 as well. Here's Carolyn Smith saying, people are losing their homes, they're losing everything they got. And Sanders' office saying, yes, you're getting a stimmy check. Advocacy took a really big form when we learned the importance of not making one call, but multiple calls. And this morning, Janice, who you can see in a second, she posted that she called 3 offices yesterday. I love you, Janice. You can see her in a second. She keeps on making calls. Love you, Janice. So here's what one viewer wrote. Will, I called Bernie, I called Chuck, and I called Liz. And all 3 of their secretaries confirmed. I explained my situation. That's all you got to say in the comments, folks. I don't want you to post your personal, financial, or business or medical information. Just make very clear you advocated or I explained my situation. And Liz Warren's office is saying, yes, I'm going to do $1,000 to $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. And Lorica advocated as well to Bob Casey and getting the confirmation across the board. At that point, 1,000 viewers of this channel going into the vote of the recon got confirmation from the senators that the IRS monthly stimulus check is going in there. Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden confirming it. I said pick up the phone and go over to now the House members, AOC, Jalapal, Omar, Pelosi, and I'll add Sheila Jackson to that list as well. And that's what viewers started to do. And one after another, Janice got a confirmation from Omar. She got a confirmation from Jalapal after her advocacy. And that's what advocacy looks like. And then Mark picked up the phone and got Pelosi's office on the phone. I don't know if I can find Mark's graphic. Oh, here's Mark. And Mark got Pelosi's office on the phone. And the staff told me there would be a forced stimulus check for $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. And they're near finished negotiating it. Ida writing, I got Omar's office on the phone. It's going in there. Lynn Glenn got Jalapal's office on the phone, and it's going in there, and there you are. That was before the passage of the recon. After the passage of the recon, last Wednesday, Chuck Schumer, while he's trying to deal with the roads and bridges mess, his staff confirmed to Donnie's wife, it's going in there. Last week, AOC, Jalapal, and Bernie's staff 3 times, 3 different viewers confirmed it as well. And this week, the confirmations continue across the board. Advocate. Pick up the phone and advocate. All right, now let's go over to the really big, exciting, great breaking news at mornings right now with the incredible comments that came in from Sanders and Liz Warren today and late yesterday, which mirror the comments from AOC, Jalopal, and Sheila Jackson from Saturday to Sunday. Here is what Bernie and Liz Warren said. And if you're gonna say, pinch me, because it sounds like LA talking. It sounds like my words. Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders separately said the same thing last night and today. We did a recon vote in the month of August for 3.5 trillion. That vote was passed by the Senate Democrats. We're not calling the vote again. Oh, they're referring to the recon procedural, remember? The recon procedural. Remember, there's 2 steps. Recon procedural, calling for a vote on the Senate floor. Passed. Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin, passed it. They vote in favor of it. Passed. They say, we're not going to unvote our vote. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's so obvious. Why not? Of course you're not. You had a vote on the recon procedural. We aren't going to unvote our vote. We've already passed the recon procedural. All we're doing now is figuring out how to spend the 3.5 trillion, which we've already passed it. He said, we're not going back and redoing something we already done. We already passed that. Oh boy, I love it. Then what did Bernie and Liz Warren also say today? Same thing I said yesterday, which was, actually, same thing I said the last few weeks, which is Bernie went into the negotiations for your recon in July with those meetings with the Senate Democrats before they voted on the recon procedural, asking for 7 trillion. You remember that. And he said, okay, I'll agree. I'm making concession. We'll do 3.5 trillion. I'm ecstatic with 3.5 trillion. They said yes, called for vote, recon procedural, passed, done. He said, I already made a concession. I went from 7 to 3.5, and we passed it. I'm not unvoting my vote. I already made this deal. The deal's been made. We're not changing it. I love that. Oh my goodness, really incredible. Now let's go over the recon substantive, which you remember is now that we have the 3.5, how are we spending the money? Remember, that's what recon substantive. Now that we have the 3.5, how are we spending the money? Well, AOC, Jalopal, Liz Warren, and Chuck and Bernie Sanders all said the same thing since Saturday, that recon that passed that House Budget Committee 2 Saturdays ago has all these different programs in there. And these programs in there are these checks that I go over with excruciating detail in all the videos. They said all those programs that are in there are staying in there. They're all staying in there, and they're not going to be watered down at all. They're going to be exactly how they are. This is huge. This is huge. One of the reasons Sanders' office reportedly likes you, the viewer, and this channel, and is not particularly as likeful of other things out there, and I'll say what it is because a lot of people, is that this channel is explaining what's in this recon. People need to be told what's in this recon. And I'm being able to explain to you what's in the recon, what is passed, what all these programs are, so that you know what the programs are. When you hear about the $4,000 of care for the elderly, you know about it. When you hear about weatherizing your home, you know about it. When you know about the home repairs, you know about it. That information is critical so that they don't have to fear as though the American people haven't been briefed about the subject matter. They like that I'm being able to tell you and inform you this information. So now let's go over Sheila Jackson's incredible comments on Saturday, which explains the situation the best of all these 4 people, because it's sort of like a mathematical approach to the situation. Sheila Jackson is the number 2 in the progressive caucus under Jalopal. She is the person who was on the House floor that Saturday night when they passed the recon procedural, the recon 3.5. She is the person who drafted much of it. What did she say on Saturday? She said the recon is like a big basket with a bunch of loaves in it, like loaves of bread. She said, we're not taking any of the loaves of bread out. We're not taking out any of those programs. If there's a program in there and it's passed, it ain't coming out. So, for example, the $4,000 of care for the elderly, not coming out, says Sheila Jackson. It's a loaf. It's a program. It's not coming out. So what's the next thing she said? We're not doing a half loaf. meaning we're not going to water down the amount of money. We're not doing a half a loaf of bread. We're not taking the program and just doing half of the program. And for example, instead of $4,000, we're not doing $2,000 to care for the elderly. We're doing $4,000. The whole program is going to be exactly how it is. This is huge. Not only is the recon, which is passed, staying passed, not only is the recon that has these programs, keeping the programs in there, but the programs are going to stay exactly at the dollar amount to you that they are. And yes, they vow they're putting in those IRS stimulus checks in there as another program. This is big. This is big. So how can they meet a concession on the recon? The only way the progressives will be changing anything on the recon, says Sheila Jackson and the progressives, is changing how they tax the entities to pay for the recon, changing how they tax the corporations, changing how they tax the wealthy, rich individuals. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with you. That's the back end. That's the operation of the recon. And that's how they're going to modify things. Only they're not going to remove any loaf, and they're not going to do a half loaf. Wow, this is incredible, great news. Now, let's turn to what the president's doing today. The president's having a meeting today with approximately 12 House Democrats, a lot from Texas. If you're a subscriber, a member of the channel, I posted it on the channel earlier today, and it's very seat for stimulus-ish. It's just very much so. I also posted on Twitter. These are people who are in battleground states that are fearing their reelection bids either later this year or next year. This is a big one. And they are now urging the president to get it done. Meantime, it's important to understand that this recon is going to go very quickly because now the president sees things like his approval rating among independents going from 60% in the month of July to 30% in the month of August or September, a very quick downturn. He's trying to get this recon out the door as quickly as possible. So understand that is the element of urgency. There's the debt ceiling limit looming again in 2 weeks. I'm going to start covering that maybe later this week because there's so much happening now with the recon. I don't want to overwhelm the recording any more than it is. But that debt ceiling limit is among the other things I got to get done. So there you go. Now let's cut over to a little bit of third stimulus and then the big money coming back to you. Third stimulus is part of what I want to bring back into this channel, which I haven't said in a few weeks, which is financial independence. I want you to be another Mark and get $51,000. Lorraine, $105,000 from third stimulus, and the nonprofits. Johnny, $80,000. I want you to get these big sums of money. I want you to not be financially dependent upon whether Kristen Sinema has coffee or tea for breakfast today. I want you to be able to get as much money as you can under third stimulus from the nonprofits as possible. So get that pen, paper, cell phone ready. And we're going to go over all this big money right now. I want you to make sure you understand it, and I want to make sure I make it clear enough for you so you get this big money. First, when we talk about third stimulus, I want to help you get this rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, and other items. And it's starting right now. There's 6 places you reach out to. I'm going to show you 6 places you reach out to. Each has different pots of money, different eligibility. And yes, they got that $13 billion cash infusion just a few days ago. Here are the 6 places that you reach out to. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, and State House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Now, if you're a member of this channel, and if you aren't, the link's under the video, in the newsletter, I now feature that Treasury statement about the $13 billion. I want you to read it so you know what it is before you call up. They will have the money everywhere. Red, blue, purple states. Every state will have that money. So I want you to get that money as soon as it lands. Next, utility companies. If you got 5, reach out to all 5. And one viewer had a great comment yesterday. Can I reach out to different agencies to get multiple sums of money for the same item? Absolutely. Mark, Lorraine often got rent from 2 different organizations. Johnny, rent from 2 different organizations. Absolutely. Apply at as many places as you can. Don't just apply at one. Find the nonprofits. Please rely upon the nonprofits. The nonprofits were a big success story a year ago this month because I was able to show people how to get a lot of money, get themselves financially independent in the thick of the pandemic, and pay all their bills for major items around the household going into the winter months, and it really changed their lives. I want to be able to change your lives again. So here are the 5 nonprofits. Remember, the nonprofits pay for all the same items under third stimulus generally, but with different eligibility. So if you do believe you're having an eligibility problem, please lean on the nonprofits. Here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They are very, very helpful. Now, what's also important to understand with the nonprofits is they also pay for other items the third stimulus doesn't have. For example, homeless person to get into shelter, yes. Then the incredible money for clothing, yes. Then money for helping people get help for food, yes. They'll do a lot. And then appliances, 2 viewers getting refrigerators, window fixed, a furnace, all happening on this channel. Here again are the 5 nonprofits. Lean on them: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, if you haven't become, SNAP. Yes, the great news with SNAP is that everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% starting this month everywhere nationwide. Reach out to Department of Agriculture if you haven't gotten SNAP. And then the refund checks. Yes, the one from the state coming back due to overpayment and computer error. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. And then the one from the federal government, that refund check for that 2020 tax return that you paid taxes on. Yes, that's coming back. Average payment is about $1,200 to $2,000. If you got any of these monies, post to the live chat. You inspire other people. Finally, if you haven't become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP members in the link have that emoji next to their name. Daily at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is also under the video. You can sign up for that as well. I deliver to members the newsletter. And that newsletter features all the big money on the first, second, and third stimulus. I want you to be financially independent. I want you to be the next Mark and getting another $51,000, or Johnny $80,000, or Ray and $110,000, or all these other people getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for just a few people in their family. This money is available. I want you to get the money. I want you to make 3 promises to yourself this week. 1, I want you to advocate. I want you to be like Janice, who thought through her mind, what am I going to say before I call? What is the unique situation of what I'm going to say before I call? Why do I need this stimulus? Okay, I know what I'm going to say now. And I'm going to say, my name is, I'm an LALATE viewer. I'm from the state of wherever. And I got to tell you why I need it. This is what I need. I want to tell you why it's important for you to do this, because I need this money. I need this stimulus. Advocate. Call as many offices as you can. Number 2, try to get as much money under third stimulus as far as you can into 2022. You may have gotten money before. Get more money, please. And then finally, the nonprofits. Lean on the nonprofits. We've done this before. I've done this before. We know the nonprofits get overwhelmed in November and December because it gets cold. People need heating oil bills and things paid for. It's still still moderate weather in the Midwest. It's still in the 60s. They're not getting a lot of calls. The turnaround times are great right now. People are getting great success stories for St. Vincent de Paul for rent. Turnaround times of 24 hours, and United Way. So get that money right now while it's available. And with that, let's go into the final recap of what's happening at mornings. Thank you for joining me across the board. The huge details is that recon that passed in that House Sub-Budget Committee 2 Saturdays ago. Everything's staying in there. All these clusters covered on this channel, staying in there. All these checks in these clusters, staying in there. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Jalopal, Liz Warren, and Sheila Jackson, all saying each loaf of bread, each program is staying in there. No loaf is going to become a half-baked loaf. It's not going to get watered down. They ain't going to change any of that. Moreover, the new comments today from Bernie and Liz is that we already did this. We're not doing it again. We did this in July, and we are not repeating the process. We met with the Democratic senators. We said, what type of recon do you want? I asked for 7. We got 3.5. We're doing 3.5. We're not doing it again. There's a formal law that has been passed. It's the recon procedural, and we're done. We're not repeating the process. Huge. The way they make the changes on the back end doesn't concern us. It's the corporate taxes. That's how they modify the numbers, not your pay-fors. And that's why these understanding what is in this recon is so critical. I appreciate all your time and efforts, and keep on pushing. And now they're trying to get this done faster than ever before because of the looming election. And now Coming up next is Morning's Crypto at 10 o'clock with Bitcoin going over 50,000. And I'm back with you at noontime as the news cycle is expected to change yet again. There's a lot of meetings happening, and I'll have the updates on those meetings at noontime at 11 a.m. So with that, hit that subscribe button and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.